Hi friends! I hope you had a meaningful Holy Week and a good Easter. I hope that the strangeness of not meeting together at church yesterday didn't diminish your joy for the day. I am excited. We are starting a new Bible study this week, and I hope that you are excited as well. Just want to say it's not too late to join in. Everything's on the website. You can see the study there. You can download and print it. If you cannot print at home and would like a copy delivered, let me know and we can do that for you. We will have 4 Zoom discussion options every week for the next 4 weeks, one on Tuesday evening and then 3 available for Thursdays. So all of that information you will get in your email newsletter every Monday afternoon, and the links for all of those Zoom discussions will be in that email. So pay attention to your emails. As I have said and written many times in the last few weeks, this study was written by our very own Amy Goertz. And while many of us have known and loved Amy for many, many years, I realize that not all of you know her. So I asked Amy to record a video of herself, kind of introducing herself and kind of introing this study on the book of Acts for you. So she did that for us, and I'm excited for you to be able to get to hear from her in her lovely southern drawl why it is that she wrote this study. And Amy mentions in this intro that it's very difficult to write just a 3-week study on the book of Acts. It's a huge book with a lot in it. So just a little teaser that we may be studying the book of Acts starting in the fall way more in depth. So hang in there if this feels like too fast of an overview for you. We may get to dip in way deeper later in the fall. So enjoy this message from Amy.
Hi, I'm Amy Goertz. My husband and I have been members of Grace since 1993, back when we were at Deerfield. We have we came as newlyweds to Lawrence and have had 3 sons and have raised them here. So this is home to them, although it's not home to either one of us. Our children are now sort of grown. They're all in college, and they are all, of course, home right now because of the pandemic, which is a blessing to me, but a curse for them, I'm sure. But anyway, here I am, and I was hoping that I could speak to you in person, but that's just not going to happen. So Lindsay asked me to write this study last fall. And when I read the email, my first thought was, is she crazy? She must have been desperate. I read the email from her several times, pondering what I was going to tell her. I was trying to figure out what was going on in her head that prompted her to even ask me. There are so many women in our church that would be much better qualified to write a Bible study. But God, my favorite phrase in the Bible, began to work. As many of you know, I love the Old Testament. Without it, the New Testament just doesn't make a lot of sense. Knowing the Old Testament causes us to know the big picture of God's love and redemptive power. And then the New Testament wraps it all up with a big bow. I picture the bow with white with black lettering. And the bow would have words love, peace, redemption, shalom, worship, worthiness. Insert your own words. But I've read the New Testament many times, and I've done Bible studies on many sections of it. But I had never really dug into Acts the way I did this time. So as I read the email from Lindsay asking me to consider this task, I wanted to be like Jonah and run to Tarshish. But I let God take over. He led me to dig in, take a leap of faith, and see where it led. So like Jonah sitting in the belly of a big fish, he led me to say, okay. But I had sweat running down my back and the palms of my hands. Well, we all suffer at different times in our lives. It causes us to long for everything to be as it should be. Shalom. But God uses suffering for His purposes in our lives and in the lives of others. We should expect it. We live in a world much like the time of the judges, when everyone did what was right in their own eyes, and there was no king in the land. So did the apostles. It was mainly a polytheistic society full of idol worship, sexual immorality, and the rule of the Roman Empire. There was a remnant of Israelites who maintained their heritage and worshipped in the temple. But even that had been corrupted by the Pharisees and Sadducees and human sinfulness that added and subtracted from God's word. But Jesus was different. Jesus brought the message of an upside-down kingdom where service and love would rule. The apostles suffered in their work to spread the gospel. But they were honored to suffer because Jesus had suffered. This should not have been a surprise to them. It wasn't. And it shouldn't be a surprise to us. Jesus had come to suffer for the sake of our redemption. So here it is. It's not perfect. There are many things that I would have loved to have dug deeper into, but in a 3-week study, it's just not possible. We did 6 chapters of Galatians in 16 weeks, and now we're going to do 28 chapters of Acts in 3 weeks. Just not possible to dig deep. But I wanted to give you the big picture of the Acts of the Apostles. It's really the Acts of Jesus that was done through the apostles. God used men and women just like us, sinners with weaknesses and faults, to help spread the gospel in the first century. So put yourselves in their sandals. Cause it to change your heart from why me to why not me. God will be there. He will help us, equip us, and support us as we share the love of Jesus to those around us. When I wrote this, I had no idea what the circumstances would be, but God did. And now we have an opportunity, 6 feet from each other, to show Him that suffering in this world should be expected. God has a plan to bring us to Him through Jesus. So, as you study this, try to visualize yourself living in the first century and feeling and seeing what it was like to walk with Peter and Paul and Philip and see what their lives were like and how they were honored to serve Jesus as they taught His word. They poured themselves into the lives of these people because Jesus did it for them. Thanks.